Good evening, folks. How we all doing? I welcome everyone here joining me here tonight. Now, I recently picked up some auction stuff tonight, or earlier today on my lunch break. Just little stuff. Really, like a big, huge metal tray of just nothing but files, old files. I haven't got that one out of the truck yet, but I will. Oh, I just noticed something I got in here. Anyway, I also picked up this was pretty cheap. I think maybe $30 at the most. Cheaper than the store. I picked up, believe it or not, I didn't have one of these before. I always done it by hand, brute force. Log roller. Finally got a log roller. It's got some fasteners attached here. Looks like there was something that went here. I'm not sure exactly what. But yeah, it's got some hardware taped to it. But other than that, it'll do the job. Oh, nice, good log roller. I could have used this on a couple of my jobs, couple of my tree jobs. So now I have one. Always nice to get those bigger logs rolled over so you don't dig your bar into the ground, which I've done. I'm sure everybody has. I did it not just long ago at my dad's doing that tree. It happens, especially when you're not paying attention. The other thing here is this giant box I got up on here on the yeah, that thing. Anyway, this giant box here. Big box. Pretty good size. Come with about 3 saws. 3 saws. They're in pieces, some of them in pieces. Oh no, they're not in pieces, they're just have the bars taken off. Got a little tackle box here, it says chainsaw parts. Looks like you got a bunch of parts, I'm not even sure what this is. Feels like a chain. I actually have the manuals here from the saws that are in the box. Yep, well, 2 of them anyway. Looks like you got some. Wow, that's an aggressive, very aggressive sharpener here. Nicholson brand. A couple of them here. Very aggressive. Yeah, these things. Jeez, my mind is somewhere else. Simply because I just watched Trump's speech, which we'll probably get into that later, maybe. Old screwdriver here. Files. There, that's the word I was thinking of. Very aggressive files. Got a couple cleaning toothbrushes here. Allen wrench. Very used oil filter. Couple Allen wrenches actually. An old school bar wrench. And a half a bottle of the 2-stroke. Poland. Yeah. Not too bad. Okay. Now, right off the bat, I see 3 chainsaws. I'll get the first one out, which is kind of a different one for me. Okay, we got right here. We got a McCulloch Electromatic 16 ES. So I'm assuming this is a 16-inch bar. And don't know if there's a plug in here or extension or whatever, but it's definitely electric. Seems to be alright. So yeah, like I said, all the bars are off. So we got a little McCulloch Electromatic 2.25 horse. Yeah, pretty cool. Okay, I wasn't expecting no McCulloch in here, but it's electric. But whatever. All right, next one up, we got a 36cc 16-inch bar Craftsman chainsaw. Looks like a little older model, not too old, not too bad. I don't know if she'll start, but got plenty of compression. 98. It's a 98. 1998. Alright. This one in here, very popular one, at least around here. A lot of people like these Poland Wild Thing. 40cc 18-inch bar. Pretty stock. That's a 2012. I mean, it's fairly clean. Just look like it's been used a little bit, but it don't look too bad. Both of them don't look too bad. That one's just a little dusty. The Craftsman's just a little dusty, but not too bad, right? Yeah, Wild Thing. I don't care for the colors myself. It's not really my style. Got the bars in here. Wild Thing. Yeah, this hasn't been used much at all. Still can see most of the writing on there. Usually this stuff wears off pretty quick. So we've got an 18-inch bar. Looks like there's some baggies of chains in here. Got a bar guard here. Let's see, what else? Got another bar here. Some rope. I'll tie it up here. Dryden, Michigan. Rossi Boss Incorporated. That's, Dryden, not very far from me. Maybe a half-hour drive. Half-hour, 35, 40 minutes away. Well, it's a no-name brand bar. I see another bar over here. That's definitely tell which one that is, right? That's actually a very nice bar. It's hardly used at all. But yeah, I can tell that's for the electric, obviously. So this one without the name on it here must be Craftsman. Usually the Craftsman's a pretty big name. They put their names on everything. So, well, who knows? Was in the 90s. Alright. So yeah, we got quite a few. Oh, look at there. Scroll saw blade in there. Grabbed it by accident. It was wrote on here that CRA. So that's probably the Craftsman chain there. Could use some sharpening, but in good shape. Got the little yellow link there. Safety chain, of course. No, it's not. It is not the safety chain. Oh, yeah. Spent some money on the chain, at least. steel chain. Get the little yellow mark there. Alright. I don't know if this will fit my scroll saw, but I'll set it off to the side. I know you guys kind of close, aren't you? There we go. Sawhorses. That's what I was going to call those. Sawhorses. And this is for Poland. I'm a Poland fan. I like Poland. Get another scroll saw. That was my very first chainsaw, was Poland. A bunch of little scroll saw blades in here. Some are pretty bent, so I'm just going to toss those. But these other ones, they might fit my saw, so we'll keep them. Alright, get another little baggie here. Oh, Poland. Yeah, these haven't even been sharpened. They feel sharp through the bag, so who knows, you know? Yeah. That's a safety chain. Oh, hold on. I'm looking up that upside down. Let me see. So no safety. You know, it is safety chain. Stupid safety. I hate those things. Never cared for them. And this is definitely for the electric. Definitely McCulloch chain. I don't know what this one was. Probably the original. Oregon. Nope, not original. It's a McCulloch chain. Definitely a safety chain for that one. That's different, looks a little different than just a regular one. I don't know if that's just because it's electric or what, but hey. That looks like about it. Looks like I got a moving blanket go with it. Looks like some bar oil leak. So I'll just get this washed. You know. Do not machine wash or dry, so we're gonna have to wash this by hand. I've been needing some moving blankets. That's good. I could always use a moving blanket, right? Could have used one today. So I'm gonna set these little scroll saw blades up to the side. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Besides the big thing of toss that over there. But yeah, saws. The files, which, well, hell, let's go grab them. I'll grab them. Why not? It only takes 2 seconds. So, yeah, I got this big metal tray. It's got some weight to it. So, well, I guess it's not all chainsaws. Or chainsaws. All files. Mostly files. I do a lot of metal work, so I can always use files. Mostly big ones. Got a little bit of small. Oh, this is a nice one right here. Right here. It's all worn out though. I'll beat up. I don't think it's any good though. But it's a real fine file. So you can barely see the cut. So that's pretty worn out. Be a good one to make a knife or something. Got an awl. And some old screwdrivers. Now see, my grandpa, he did a lot of woodworking. And he had a lot of these screwdrivers with the wooden handle like this. Pretty cool. I always like the wood. Wood's good. Wood's good. Looks like a random spanner wrench with a weird shape. Almost looks like a bottle opener. Well, we call these spanner wrenches. They're open. That's at least what I call them anyway. Well, yeah, some of these files turn into, ooh, there's a nice round file there. Very aggressive. So, yeah. So some of these can turn into, knives or spoons or whatever you want if you're into metalworking like that. We got some real small, really, really fine ones in here. Yeah, I like the smaller ones because I do a lot of detail work. Yeah, got a actual wooden handle here. You pop your files in. Got some nice big ones in there. Heck yeah! A broken screwdriver. Actually, probably turn that in. See, stuff like this, I'll put in a grinder. And I'll grind up my own tool. So if you got a broken screwdriver like this, grind it down to your own screwdriver or some kind of tool or a little mini scraper. Now you can make pretty much anything out. The only thing I would do, once I make my tooling, my tip out of there, like if I were to make a screwdriver out of that, I'll fit it in a screw and make sure it fits right. And then what I do is I get my my map torch and I'll heat the good about 2 inches or so, inch or two, about right here, and I'll heat that red hot. Once it's cherry red, you dip it in some used motor oil, and that'll be hardened. It'll be a hardened end, so you won't be a less chance of breaking it. So a little pro tip for you. So if you make your own tooling like that, that's something you could do. Which I'll definitely be doing with that. Yeah, a lot of fine stuff. Yeah, a lot of aggressive, a lot of fine. See, like right here. This was a chisel at one time, but you could see the end here. See how he just kind of made his own tooling? See, now I would heat that up cherry red, dip it in some used motor oil, which I keep around here all the time because I'm always changing oil, and that would make that piece of metal hardened. Sometimes you gotta do it a couple times, make sure you get it right, but usually when you heat it up cherry red and dip it in some oil and let her smoke out, you gotta be careful because the flame will shoot up. But yeah, that'll harden your end there. This different here. I'm not sure. It's like a file here. All it has is a number 2 on it for marking. But there is no tooling on it. It's just a flat piece of bar. And it's slightly tapered. I don't know, maybe for a pry bar or something, or looks like somebody was hitting at the end of it. It's all curled over, but yeah, there's it's like a file, but it's not. It's all smooth, different. So yeah, it came in this big metal casing. Lion. I don't know. There must have been some kind of industrial tray or something. It's got handles on both sides, so some kind of thing like that. So I'm gonna give you kind of a glimpse here. So all kinds of little stuff, old screwdrivers and files and whatnot, and got some little ones down at the bottom. But that's it. Oops, sorry. It's probably a little loud. So it's just the majority of all files. These half round files are very useful. This one won't be though. But yeah, if you have a file cleaner, like a wired brush, and clean those up. This one's in pretty good shape. This needs to be cleaned up. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? I like stuff like that. And then stuff like this here. That big box, I only got it for like $13. So 3 saws, chains, and bars. Who could go wrong, right? Sorry about that, Al. I got a little interrupted there. Alright. So yeah, that big box was $17, $30. I don't remember. I think the files are 13, big box was 30. That's what it was. And 30 for the log roller, which it's not a bad deal. Not the greatest, but not bad. It's better than paying, I don't know, how about $60 to $80 at the store. So, like I said earlier, I'm just going to go on this a little brief. Just simply because, alright, I should, brief, because I should say, like I mentioned before, the Trump speech, I just happened to listen to it. Now, I've changed my life around quite a bit. I changed everything up. And I listen to everything with an open mind. Everything in life. Now, I've really grown a lot in experience and, changed a lot of myself to where I have to think of everything with an open mind. If you don't, then you're only one-sided, and then, well, what's the point in living that way if you're only going to be one-sided? You're not experiencing everything, right? And I'm sure I could word that a little better. But, yeah, I'm still thinking about the speech and everything. If you haven't seen it, I suggest watching it. It's on YouTube. It is labeled the most important speech you will ever make. And I believe it is, yes. Now, I know Trump is a businessman, which is good in the politic world because a country needs to be ran not in a politic way, but is as a business. The country needs to have a financial cycle in order to run properly, which hence the businessman is, as for myself, I'm a businessman, so I get the aspect of that as well. But I do see the politics side too, because you have to have that equal balance in laws and order and the way the country is ran. So that's part of the open mind thing I have. Now, the speech was mainly on the voter fraud, and if you have any lick of common sense, you can see that there was a ton of voter fraud right off the bat, just in the numbers jumping overnight. It's obvious. Plus, there's tons of videos of people dumping ballots in wee hours of the morning, and there's so much evidence that showed that there's so much voter fraud. on the Democratic side. Now, I'm not neither Democrat or Republican. I am a neutral state. I have never voted in my life. I am so neutral. I just keep an open mind. If it doesn't interfere with my life, I'm not worried about it. You know? And that's the way I've always thought. My mind thinks that way. It's just I've always been like that. Except for this year. This was the first time I voted. And I went through and I voted, and before the vote, I went and I did my research. I followed every little trail, every little thing. You can obviously see what's fake, what's not, and especially when there's multiple things that show that one thing is seem to be true, because there's multiple from different sources saying the same thing. That's what I'm trying to say. So I just put 2 and 2 together and used common sense, and I made the best choice that I felt was right for me. And, well, now that Trump has come out in a speech saying that he has tons of evidence and tons of personal accounts of people coming up with affidavits and proving that they've seen all this illegal voter fraud and how deeply corrupted our government is. And I say government because both sides are corrupt. And that's why that's why I said it's a good thing why we have a businessman for president right now. And I thought that is a perfect move, really, especially with what the last couple presidents have done. So, anyway, I just want to kind of touch base a little bit on that, and because it kind of stirs up in my mind. I don't follow politics. I don't do it. I do here and there. I listen to it from my boss at work because he's really into it, and he also has an open mind as well. So it's just so I hear both sides. I see both sides, and I could definitely see what side is not the right side. And we all know the government's corrupt. It's very common sense to see that so much is wrong, and it's sad because this country was built and founded on integrity and opportunity and freedoms and freedom of choice, and when your choices are taken away by voter fraud, there's definitely something wrong. That should be the absolute one thing that should never be messed with. And it shouldn't have to. That's not right. But you got the left side that's so corrupt, so deep, really, really deeply corrupt, that they're so willing to keep their power and money rolling in because of and just dumping names of dead people, multiple names, random birth dates, anything to get the account in, and it's just you could see that all through the whole election process, and it's sickening. People have died, fought and died, bled for this country to keep the Constitution intact. And it's sad. It's really sad. And I can see Trump, he's just trying his best to turn it around and actually give the country back to the people and not to the politics. the politics work for the people, not the people work for the politics. And I could see that he is trying to give the country back, at least through the voter stuff. And he has done quite a bit for economy-wise. Granted, the COVID thing kind of did screw things up a little bit for him, but and their last-ditch efforts with the voter fraud. But yeah, all right, I'm done with that. I'm over it. That's just. I just wanted kind of vent. I'm sorry. So I'm sorry if I had to vent a little bit. Oops, sorry. So yeah, I went into going into this home light some more because I want to do a complete tear down, get it sandblasted, prepped, and ready for when I get the powder coat, which I still need to look for the right color. So I don't want to blast everything just yet. I want to keep something. Yeah, I'll probably keep the little oil cover here for a good reference for paint wise. And I did kind of play with the punch a little bit, so you can see it creates nice little punch, little holes, just like the original, you know. So it's just a matter of cutting it out to size and slapping it back on. But we'll do that once we get it all cleaned up and refinished and all that. I still haven't got this cover off. I've been looking and see what in the world is keeping it on, but I see some surface corrosion in here around where the bearing, the crankshaft bearing is. And the only thing this thing moves in and out the little bit it does is from the whole crank itself moving back and forth just that little bit. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure how to go about it, but I'll figure it out. Nevertheless, I will figure it out. Always do. So I had some little bit of this stuff here. Works awesome. It's called Freol. This stuff, if you want some deep penetrating oil that is really, really quick, this is the stuff. Gotta be watch out for this stuff. This is a little flammable. Don't we know that, Nick? It's a little flammable, right? It's so flammable it broke a rib. I broke a rib. Well, not really broke it. I broke loose a rib on the cartilage on my sternum here. Yeah, that was trying to separate an armature from a generator. So the generator armature is like this big, huge, heavy. Oh, I don't know. What did you say, Nick? 20 pounds almost? 15, 20 pounds? And this thing we put in there and we'll heat it. We put this down the shaft and we figured it would evaporate off. We heat it a little bit. Heat it and heat it and heat it and pulling on it. And this thing, it ignited. The armature took off like a rocket. This big, huge metal chunk of metal, heavy, 15, 20 pounds, shooting like a rocket, straight up and right into my chest. Oh man, I tell you what, I was in some pain. Oh yeah, knocked me right to the ground. Yep, that was something. But anyway, also got the gas tank, right? I noticed there was a little bit of a leak. Now these tanks, I know they're supposed to be permanently sealed, but they do leak from time to time. It happens. It's normal wear, especially on an old saw. So I took all the little screws out, and then I separated the two halves. So I will end up going back through this and sealing it up. But before I do that, before I put everything in there, I'm going to put this thing together to put the two covers after I get it all cleaned up and whatnot and sealed back up. I like this stuff. I swear, this stuff is amazing. I don't know if everyone used it, but it's called Red Coat. It's a fuel tank liner. Comes in a liquid form. It's a real thick liquid. You just dump in through the filler hole there, however much it says, and then you just kind of move it around so you coat the whole inside of the tank, right? And and then you let it dry. You dump out all the excess and you let it dry. And about, I think, 24 hours, I think it said. And it's very impervious, yeah, that word, to fuel, obviously, because it's a fuel tank liner. It says it's resistant to alcohol and most fuel additives. So if you have an additive that you like to use in your saws or whatever you put tank you use this in, so it's most additives, not all of them, but most. It stays flexible. It has a bright color. It's a red color, obviously. That's why they call it Red Coat. It covers rust, so it seals all the old rust and prevents future rusting. And then, of course, seals all the leaks. So all the little pinholes you can't see, it'll seal it up. Or the crack around your seal. So I highly recommend that stuff. It is amazing. But when you do it to older saws, you gotta remember, it has something like this in the tank that's for feeding your fuel. If something like this and has some cotton or wool, I think it's wool, some kind of material, and it soaks in it and it feeds it to your gas line. You gotta take that out, and then I'll coat this all up. Then what I'll end up doing is putting it back onto the cover after I take it apart, and then I will put a little seal all the way around here and then put it back together. Now I haven't tried it yet, but I was thinking maybe putting some red coat on a brush and paint, put a good layer of it all the way around here after I seal all this, because it's going to break. You're going to have to cut the little bit liner when you separate these two after you get your red coat in there. So I was thinking take some red coat, put it on that. I haven't tried it yet, but came up in as an idea. So we'll give it a try after I get it all cleaned up. It don't even set flat on here anymore. So yeah, I can definitely see why this would be an issue. There was some wear, where the bottom, sometimes it grinds up on concrete or something. But right down in here, it kind of wore a little through the crack, and that's where it was leaking at, I noticed. Which is a little odd because the fuel part, it don't even go to this. It's separated here. Oh, you know what? No, it's not. It is not separated here. Because this side doesn't have something to seal to. So it isn't. So, yep, that's definitely where it was leaking at. And you can see all in here, and it's very corroded. Yeah, I was brushing it. You can see a difference here. It looked like this. All that nasty stuff is really brown and stuff. There's a better shot. So all that, it turned into like a powder. So all that stuff, it may come loose sometimes and get into your fuel. Bad, bad, bad. Don't want that. So anyway, that's where I came up on that. Other than that, only thing I have to disassemble is that cover and some pieces here, like the plunger, and you gotta get the buttons, or the plunger and the throttle and the choke, throttle lock, trigger lock. Oh, and some brass and a couple brass fittings for the pump. So, other than that, it's really nothing special left to do except for doing some sandblasting and whatnot, and getting it powder coated, and then getting the tank red coat. So other than that, that's my little spiel for the day. Nothing real special going on right now. Nothing exciting. Just had a little rant over Trump's speech. But I ain't gonna talk about that no more. So, yep, it's kind of getting late. I ran out of wood. I vacuumed up a little bit on the floor, so I got a decently clean floor. And yeah, I'm out of wood, so then I said, well, I put last of the wood into the made a little fire. So it was enough to take the chill off in here and take my jacket off. So I figured I'd make a little video. So anyway, I'll let you all go. Y'all be safe, be kind, and spread the love. And I'll see you all on the next video. And yes, I will get that that helmet out for you, buddy. I will get it out for you, Pip-Pop. Y'all take care.